Hey, hello there folks, I'm RJB and you're watching RJBTV. And without any longer of an introduction, we're gonna go straight into the very first match between Bob and Rabbit, also known as Toki. Rabbit, Toki, it means the same thing, just the Korean for rabbit. Here in the bottom corner, we've got SaewooBob. Saewoo is, I think, a geographical location somewhere in Korea. And he called himself Bob, so I'm going to assume he's from Saewoo. And yeah, his name is Bob. Here on the Protoss, and Rabbit here on the Teal Terran. It's a Protoss against Terran. I've got a feeling this Bob guy is a very strong Protoss player. Not sure, but I do know this is a best of set, and Rabbit doesn't tend to play against bad Protosses. He tends to kind of play against really good players overall. That's most of what he does. Play 1v1 against pretty strong players, able to give him a challenge. Is here on the Teal Terran, as I said before. Two players. I can't really say much about Bob. I can just observe his build order, and that's about as much as I can do. Double gateway opening, might go for a Nexus afterwards, not sure. Not gonna call it just yet, but 2 gateways into a Nexus tends to be the go-to build order for most of these Protosses on the fastest map. Pylon there in the choke, and Rabbit here started off with 8 barracks, supply depot, then 10 barracks, and now 12 barracks coming up. Well, it's 11 barracks, but almost 12. It kind of depends. Some players do 12 barracks, some others apparently do 11 and a half. So he's gonna scout with 2 SCVs, not 1, but 2. And I think that's gonna hurt his money a little bit, but at least he's gonna find SaewooBob pretty early on into the game. Toki should be... well, he should be... I really expected the Nexus here from Bob, but I don't see the Nexus yet, but there it is. Finally it comes out. Some Protosses go for double Nexus, double Pylon, and then the Nexus. He went for double Gateway, double Pylon, double Zealot, and then the Nexus. Some players switch it around. They get the Nexus before the Zealots, some others get the Zealots afterwards. And Bob gets them afterwards. It doesn't really affect things all that much. It's just you got 2 Zealots out about 14 seconds faster, ready to start fighting. And that might make the difference, it might not. Sometimes it does, most of the time it doesn't really make much of a difference. Other than you're able to kill a couple of Marines, or maybe even start punishing a Terran that went for very fast command center before the barracks. But in this case, it's triple barracks before the command center, but the command center is coming out, and a Rabbit did stop making Marines for a little while. He doesn't know the Zealots are coming into his base. The Zealots are actually sneaking in. This is actually very dangerous, because now the Marines are moving away. This is like the worst kind of luck right here for Rabbit. Rabbit is just getting caught out. Now Zealots are coming over, and then he might realize that maybe Zealots are already inside of his base. He's going for triple command center, and we see there's only 3 Marines, and he's now producing Marines, but there's 2 Zealots there in the back, ready to kill some SCVs, and he doesn't get the first SCV kill. He might get this one there, though. Doesn't get that one either. He gets it. Won't get the Marine, might get a Marine. He's trying to get SCVs, but he doesn't actually get as much out of that one as I thought he would. Does kill the second SCV, so 2 SCV kills there. More Zealots are walking in towards the sides. Rabbit is keeping his Marines there in the back, just in case more Zealots are coming. I mean, you would assume more Zealots would be coming in this situation, because that is, of course, the best choice of action. And there's no single Protoss, it only makes 2 Zealots and then keeps them at home after this situation occurs. So once again, goes for another SCV. SCV runs away to safety, but the command center is once again slowed down. And now 2 Zealots are hitting the supply depots. 1 SCV there goes down as well. Really, really good play here from Bob, and perhaps a little bit too risky here from Rabbit. Rabbit was assuming that because Zealots hadn't arrived yet, that Bob didn't go for double gateway before the next, but he in fact did. And you can see the aftermath of it. Rabbit is playing very defensive right now, not putting any pressure where he would normally be able to. He's very far behind on where he wants to be. He's just getting slowed down. He does have a nice amount of SCVs, and he will have more in the near future. But Engineering Bay got slowed down. Factory got slowed down. He's got fewer Marines than he should have. He lost about 4 or 5 SCVs. Academy slowed down. Depot slowed down. Not supply block though. But things overall just aren't looking that pretty. Whereas they are looking pretty here for Bob, because he has double robo there in the front, support bay in the back, and Citadel of Doom also finished up, still producing zealots. A small little skirmish there on the middle happening. Rabbit just turns around, doesn't want any of that fighting there. Although these zealots here, that's 6 zealots, yeah. The 6 zealots might actually be just stronger than his group of about 12 Marines. They might be stronger, unless Rabbit gets himself into a really good position there all the way in the back. Is he going to go for it? No, he doesn't go for it. Returns. He's just forcing Rabbit to be defensive, and he's preventing a Rabbit from building a choke. And not having a choke this late into the game might come back to be the advantage Bob needs to maybe turn this into a very quick game. Rabbit's army is just very small. We've got Double Reaver already on the way there from Bob. Got Zealot Speed there finishing up, almost done. No level 1 weapon attack for the Zealots though. But I think there's about 12 Zealots and about another 4, so there's about 10 Zealots in total. And there's no more Zealots under production at the moment. No more under production at the moment. Triple Gaster in the back. Now starting cannons around his Nexus as anti-drop against a tank drops. He's waiting for the speed. Speed is finished there for the Zealots. The shuttle has no speed yet. Rabbit is being very, very aggressive here. Very aggressive forward position there. Probably going to try to snipe that shuttle out of the air. He scanned choke here. He scanned all this. So he knows things were leaving. But the Zealots are stronger. Combined with the Reaver, of course, are stronger than those Marines. And now he got a Reaver shot from afar. He's trying to snipe the shuttle, but no, not going to work. And now the Reaver... Scarab's not exploding. Lucky shot there, lucky break. Reavers are getting attacked, but the Reavers don't go down. The Reavers don't go down. Somehow the Reavers survived with a very, very, very small little fragment of HP. Just look at these Reavers, almost dead. And now Rabbit lost his entire army as a bunker, 6 Marines in a tank he left to defend. Whereas there's 5 Zealots. Double Reaver ready to push forward and kill Rabbit. Rabbit has to very quickly get himself some extra defenses up and running, get more units in the backside. He doesn't have much. He doesn't have much. We have a drop there leaving the base. Shuttle speed there almost finished up. Templar Storm is on the way, and so is level 1 attack there for Bob. Now the Reavers are unloading. Reavers are shooting on the tank. Tank goes down. Reavers might go down as well. I think he picked 1 Reaver up. So at least he keeps one of them alive. That's a very, very good pickup there. And Rabbit once again lost another wave of Marines, although I do think he put a couple of them into the bunkers there. So he didn't lose everything, but he did lose a significant amount. Now drop comes in there from the right. Rabbit not expecting this one. He's too occupied on the front. The Reaver there shoots on the SCVs. I think he killed pretty much half of the SCVs so far. Gonna try to kill the last remaining SCVs there as well. He's got about 37 SCVs left alive. He's got 14 kills. Gets another shot off on those SCVs. SCVs are running away. Scarab not exploding, not yet. Kills, I think about 3 or 4. Kills, yeah, almost nothing, but kills a couple of them. It's something. So about 20 SCVs dead and gone, or was it maybe 17, 18? I think he got 1 more there at the end. But things are not looking pretty for Rabbit. He's low on money. He lost a lot of SCVs, and he's the most important thing right here is that he's low on army. Oh, goes back in with the drop. Reaver unloads. Rabbit not responding. Rabbit runs away, but loses more SCVs. Oh, this one's going to be the big one. 24 kills. Oh, even more kills. How many kills is this one single Reaver that survived earlier going to get? 27. Now the drop comes in as well. There's Templars in there. 1, 2 Templars. 3 Templars maybe. It's double Temp. Oh, he's got 2 more there inside the shuttle. He's trying to trick Rabbit into feeling safe. Templars go down. He's got 2 more to unload. Unload. Storms on the SCVs as he's once again going down. Gets 8. Gets 9. And there's 1 more Templar in there. Bob is just styling on him. Storms once more. I'm not sure how many he killed, but he killed a bunch of them. Once again, Rabbit calls GG. That's game number 1. Bob with a very strong performance. Very strong performance. Good macro, although at the moment on very high minerals, but he's just toying around with Rabbit at the moment. He was toying with his food, and Rabbit couldn't put up the fight that he had to put up. Bob just very quickly punishes Rabbit for all of his mistakes. Rabbit was cutting corners, being a little bit too forward with his army, a very small army, playing way too far forward. Should have kept it back a little bit more. Just waited for Bob to come towards him, to come towards the choke, instead of picking a fight in front of the choke, where you don't have structures to aid you in your defenses. He was basically just going out into the open, trying to make a flashy, cool play, but the cool play didn't work out, backfired, and Bob just kind of dismantles Rabbit very, very quickly. Very, very quickly dismantled. I have some high hopes for the remaining games of this set because Bob, that game looked pretty on point. He looked pretty dangerous. That was a really good Protoss, I will admit. Really good Protoss, although he did get gifted a little bit of too much room by Rabbit. But this time around, will Rabbit once again give him too much room, or is Rabbit going to get his act together and stop making those very risky calls? Very risky calls last game from Rabbit, and they all backfired. That's basically the one big weakness you will ever see in Rabbit's gameplay. Well, beside from that, he's also not the fastest. He's fast, but not one of the fastest. His micro is also not one of the best. It's good, but not one of the best. So he's strong at everything. But if you compare him to some of the other top level players, the one thing Rabbit is going for him is his brain. And his willingness to take risks. He takes huge risks, trying to get advantages. He's basically the master of cutting corners. But last game we saw him cutting corners, and that didn't go too well, did it? So what's Bob gonna do here on the other side of the map? Rabbit against Bob. What does Bob have up his sleeve? What does Rabbit have hidden in between the grass? Not sure if that makes any sense. Not sure if that made any sense. Having something hidden up your sleeve, though, that one makes sense. But having something hidden in the grass, I don't think that makes any sense at all. But I do think you get what I'm trying to say. Even though it's just pure gibberish. So Rabbit here once again scouts very early there with the drone, goes into the middle most likely. Or no, he goes to the side. So it's an Overlord scout on one side spot, and then he uses the drone pretty early. This is a very early drone pool, but he just wants to be sure that he's safe, because he's going to cut corners. If he doesn't find any sign of units on the map, Rabbit is going to cut corners once again. He's going to do it. I'm sure of it. For example, he's already not pulling a drone to his choke. He's keeping him in the back. And that means he's going to cut corners. He's also only making he's making 6 circlings. Thought he was making only 2 of them, but he's making 6. But yet the hatchery in the front is finished. He's going to delay making sunkens in his choke for as long as he can, because he's assuming that Bob didn't go for a Zealot, or, well, went for a eco build order, an economy build order, went for a Nexus first. And theoretically speaking, if the Protoss goes for a Nexus first, you can delay your sunken for as long as you feel is safe. And that's what Rabbit is doing. Cutting corners by getting more hatchers in the back instead of building sunkens. There's no defenses, only a couple of Zerglings. Keeping one Zergling there back at home to kill the probe once the probe does arrive, and there's the probe, and now he's going to chase down the probe. He might start, still not starting a sunken. Still not starting a sunken. Finds Bob's base in the end. There, Zergling goes down, finds one cannon, and cannon number 2 are on the way. Didn't see the Zealot, but there's no way that Bob is going to just attack with one Zealot. He might move out for scouting purposes, but it doesn't look like it, because the probe is already inside of Rabbit's base, gathering information. He's seeing the very, very greedy build order from Rabbit here, going for 2 more hatcheries before the first sunken in the front. There's still no sunken in the front. He's just risking it all. He's risking it very, very hard, because in reality, he doesn't know what's behind those 2 cannons. He's just assuming that Bob doesn't have units. He does have 2 units, but 2 units is basically no units at all. Going for level 1 attack, adding on 2 more one more gateway and a Stargate. So we're gonna see some Corsair abuse, or at least an attempt at Corsair abuse. Rabbit now 5 hatcheries, 4 finished, 2 Gaster in the back, 21 drones in total, waiting for an Overlord to finish. Whereas Bob now on about 29 probes, 45 supply, Corsair on the way, Dragoon's also on the way. He's probably assuming Rabbit is going to try to fly into Bob's base with an Overlord and do some information gathering. That's what his Overlord is doing. He's going to go right into the base. I don't think he's going to hang there on the side. He wants to get in there and get information. And yes, he's going in there. He wants to see what is Bob doing. But Bob saw this one coming. He knew Rabbit would do this. They probably have some experience against each other. And he's right there to intercept the Overlord, kills the Overlord, and gets Rabbit's supply block for a little bit. But I don't think it will hurt him that much because he still has no Sunkens in the front and a couple more Overlords all just finished. Rabbit is playing the most greedy Zerg I've ever seen in my entire life. Now he finally gets Sunkens in the front. He's already on 30 drones, 5 minutes, and he's very rich. He's got the Hydralisk, then he's got the Evo Chamber, got Hydralisk range on, speed on the way, not range. Got level 1 attack on the way for Hydralisk. Got Lerno on the way as well, and 31 drones running around gathering minerals. Against 39 from Bob. Bob now filling out his entire base with more gateways. There's no drop anywhere in his base to be seen. Rabbit might be assuming that Bob is going for drops, because that is the usual answer. Most players do indeed go for drops first. They don't go for a gateway army before drops, but here we see Bob just going all out on gateways. Which is also a little bit of a risky move, but he's just going to assume that Rabbit is going to cut corners on his choke. And the Corsair might give Rabbit the wrong idea that the Bob is going for drops. This Corsair might give Rabbit the wrong idea that a gateway army is not coming out. So first some Zealots. These Zealots would be normal to have, normal to own. So one Zealot there moves out, kills the Zergling. So in this case, if Bob moves out with his army, at least the Zergling there in the front won't see the army moving out. So now there's basically a surprise attack is possible for Bob. And his army is big. But Rabbit is also growing richer and bigger. He's waiting for some upgrades. He's not really producing much at the moment. He starts another wave of Hydras. And now we've got an attack coming across the map there from the... Oh, he spots out the army moving out. Rabbit not leaving things up to chance, just sending another Zergling out just to make sure that the one that got killed and served the purpose of spotting the army is replaced with another one. Now he's going to wall off this entire portion. Now with those drones, he's walling off with the drones. The Spore in the front also being... Oh, he's going to defend it with 3 Sunkens and some Hydralisks. This is going to be basically the cheapest defense, but the most effective one we might have ever seen. This gateway army is just completely failing on every single front. This is just a pure catastrophe. Rabbit just gets himself a very good position with some very, very well-placed drones, with more Zealots are coming out. More units are coming across the map. He's also starting cannons in the middle to start building a proxy robo base there on the middle. Rabbit now moving some Overlords out onto the map. But there's Hydralisks poking out, moving out. He's not gonna let Bob build those cannons. But he has to. He didn't want to let him, but those Zealots there with level 1 attack might just be too strong at the moment. Level 1 armor also on the way there for Bob. And another Corsair and the Robo there on the way in the front. But the drop is gonna come out very, very late, very, very slowly. And the Rabbit in the back added on even more hatcheries. We count 8 hatcheries in the back, 1 in the front for a total of 9. And he's on 42 drones. Will soon, of course, have more. He was just forced for a small little 2 minutes to just produce a lot of Hydralisks. Now he goes out, though. He's feeling lucky. He's feeling strong. Should he be doing this, though? Micros backwards. He kills one cannon, kills a couple Zealots there, moves out, goes back in. Staying outside of cannon range. Very well played from Rabbit. Very well played. Very smart, actually. Playing very smart here. He doesn't have any Hydras here back at home, though. There's basically no anti-drop. There's some Zerglings here burrowed on the sides, though. Once again, a smart move. Overlord speed also finished up. Hydras in the front, just being annoying. Once again, playing it very, very cheap there on the Sunkens. Robo 1 finished up and 3 more are on the way. Support bay being built here as well. And you're back at home. It's mostly just gateways and cannons. Cannons against the potential Overlord drops that might happen. It's always when they happen and they catch you off guard, you're gonna cry yourself to sleep. But now, Rabbit once again wants to go, but once again forced to pull back because his army just isn't big enough. He burrows up his Hydralisk. He wanted to burrow up the Lurker, but burrowed the Hydralisks by accident instead. He still moves out, still going for it. There's no detection right here for Bob. Bob has no detection. The Hydras might be going out a little bit too far, but now at least the Lurkers there have a nice little zone of control, and Bob has to wait for detection. Rabbit once again gonna defend himself very easily with a very aggressive outside of his choke position. Kind of like last game. Very much like last game, but this time around it's working. It's actually working. 4 lurkers are keeping away about 100 supply in the army. 100 supply in the army being kept at bay by just a couple lurkery bros. And they're waiting for the... Oh, he doesn't have... He has an observatory, and observers are now on the way as well, also getting show speed and a couple of reavers. So very, very soon, we might see Bob go for the push through those lurkers, but Rabbit isn't planning on giving him the chance to. He's pulling Bob's army into those lurkers. The observer hasn't spawned yet. Bob is losing a lot of his zealots there. A lot of zealots are going down, but he has to buy himself time. He has to reduce the amount of hydralisks there in order to buy time for the observer. The observer gets sniped. Immediately gets sniped there by Rabbit. Rabbit is playing this one amazingly well. And Bob just went for the wrong build order. It looks like he went for the wrong build order, and Rabbit's risky moves, his absolute risk, like this Chad of a man, just gambled it all, risked it all, and it's paying off. It's paying off. Still on a very low amount of drones, though. Very focused on fighting. They're not even producing at the moment. A couple of hydralisks and lurkers there being loaded up into the overlords there, though. His choke is a little bit weak, but he's now making it stronger, and he's got drones on the way back at home here, and morphing a couple more lurkers as well to help make the choke stronger. Bob looks very strong at the moment, but does he have enough cannons here back at home to defend against this overlord drop that's all filled up with hydralisks and some lurkers? This might just end the game if it lands. He's trying to break through once again, but the sporter in the front is making it hard to hit the lurkers. I see an observer now moving forward as well. This army from Rabbit actually might get in. It might get in. There's not a lot of hydralisks here back at home. The observer is too far away though, and a lot of zealots and dragoons go down before the observer provides detection on the lurkers, and that might actually kind of ruin the attack here. Small little accident of not having the observer up in the front where it can actually detect the lurkers. The reavers now, though, are being a deadly force. The reavers are definitely being a deadly force. This is going to be closer than I thought. Observe overlords here, though, ready to go in. Let's get a look at both locations at the same time. So he stopped the push. He can't really go in further, but now overlords are coming in. Overlords are coming in. Bob not yet responding. Bob pulling his probes to safety. That's a lot of hydralisks and not enough cannons. And some lurkers in the mix as well. Cannons are going down. Lurkers no longer detected. Cannons all went down, and I was going straight for the Nexus. Just a surgically precise move here across the map from Rabbit is gonna put an end to Bob's game. Bob was looking to be winning with that Reaver push there in the choke at Rabbit's base. Like, this just looks so strong. These Reavers, the Dragoons. Rabbit has an army, but only 42 pro drones, and Bob had about 80 of them, but now down to 56. Got some Dragoons coming in to try and save the day, but there's no observer here back at home, so he can't even kill the lurkers. The observer is flying home, I assume. No, it is not. There's no observer here on the scene, and Bob is running out of money very slowly because he still has to produce units. He's losing everything. His entire backset has been taken down. There's a drop coming in there inside of Rabbit's base, and he kills all the drones. So we actually have a nice little a counter-strike, but the counter-strike, while it does kill most of the drones, it doesn't stay alive. And Bob now in a very sticky situation, as we've got his entire army in the front there got taken down. He lost his army in the front there while we were looking all over the map. So the army went down, the drop happened, and Bob is still losing probes and can lose his last Nexus as well. There's no observer here back at home. He does have some units here all over the map, but he isn't using them. He's finally pulling back the observer. No clue why he took so damn long pulling the observers all the way from this proxy base back home. Because the damage has been done, and Rabbit is recovering. Despite getting hit, he's recovering. He's got 41 drones now, more hiders on the way to put them up on the side. The supply is low, but Bob here just completely devastated. Not looking fine, not looking healthy. He's looking in shambles. There's a Nexus there. There's one Nexus there, pretty far away from the minerals, and he's going to try to take it down. Going to try to take it down before the observer arrives, and he might be able to kill it. He's going to kill the last Nexus just in time. Observer arrives, but the Nexus is gone. Hydras have done their job. Lurkers have done their job. These guys are the absolute MVP. But one more small little drop there moving across the map, though, to try and finish this once and for all. Bob has 11 minerals. He basically has just the Nexus. If he loses the Nexus or the probes, this game is over forever. Rabbit is getting rich quick. 62 drones now and fortifying his front. There are some Reavers calling forward, but they won't have any minerals to support them. They don't have any money to support them. And the Observer... Where's the Observer? I don't see the Observer at the moment, but here he comes with another drop. He kills one. Oh, that's just the Hydras. That's just the Hydras. That's just the Hydras. Bob just calls GG. He doesn't have the money to build Scarabses. He has Scarabses, but he doesn't have the money. And he once again got slowed down a little bit too much. He just doesn't believe in this anymore, despite having just killed a bunch of Overlords that were here on the scene. Rabbit supply blocked himself by not pulling back the Overlords right here. These Overlords you can see supply blocked in the top corner, which would slow him down, but it wouldn't slow him down enough for Bob to make a comeback. Bob just got destroyed by the drop. He would have won if it wasn't for the drop, but Rabbit, with a very smart move, just goes for the drop, ends it all with a surgically precise hit there on the economy of Bob. So Bob there loses game number 2, scores 1-1, and now we're going to game number 3, a PvP. That's what it's going to be. So I'll come yonder and see what these two players have got in store for us on this mirror matchup extravaganza right here, right now, on RJBTV, on the map Poker Face, which is basically just the Korean fastest map with a different name. Okay. I need a drink. Let's just watch this unfold very slowly on times 4 speed, because nothing ever really happens in the first 2 or 3 minutes. Well, let's say the first 2 minutes. Nothing really happens. Okay. So, Protoss against Protoss, probably going to see Nexus first from both players. There are Protoss against Protoss rules in place. Neither player is allowed to build a choke that is bigger than 1 cannon, and neither player is allowed to build cannons outside of their base, I assume. So no cannons on the map, just a couple in their base, no cannons in their choke. Both players are doing somewhat the same build order. Rabbit goes for Nexus Triple Gateway, Bob goes for Gateway, Nexus Gateway Forge Gas. Which means Rabbit is going to be trying to get the early game lead over Bob, whereas Bob is just going to try to defend himself and get advanced technology operational. Something like Dark Templars, maybe a fast Reaver, but usually it is Dark Templars. Cybercore there also already on the way. That's a Cybercore, yep, that's a Cybercore. 1 gateway, building a single Zealot, whereas Rabbit is building double Zealot, might go for triple Zealot, and getting double gas right after queuing up those Zealots. Let me move my chair a little bit. I'm sitting too far away from the mic. Okay, so now we've got a Cybercore on the way from Rabbit as well. No Forge yet. Cybercore 4 Bob has finished up. Is it going to be a Citadel? It's a Citadel of Doom. He's got 1 cannon there in the back to protect himself from the Zealot attack. Getting a second gateway there as well. Rabbit is not getting a Forge yet. The probe there from Bob gets into his base. Let's go to red against blue, because for some reason this might not be as easy to differentiate at a first glance. So let's just go red versus blue for the sake of an easier viewing experience. Dragoons are on the way from Rabbit. Bob is gonna go Dark Templar for sure, otherwise he wouldn't be doing this. This is definitely Dark Templar shenanigans. 1 Zealot there makes it in. Zealots, catching Zealots is a little bit difficult. You can just keep walking around. They have the same speed. It's kind of easy to just walk in there and get information. And that is what he does. Robotics on the way there from Rabbit. Robotics, he probably knows Bob is going to go for Dark Templars. He's reading him like a book. So it's going to be Dragoons into Observers. And with the help of the Observers, he's going to take down those Dark Templars. Does lose 1 probe there, though. Going to try to get a second one there with the Zealot there on the left. So the Zealot there on the left is on low HP. It will go down to Dragoons. Here back at home, we've got Temple Sarkov on the way and Zealot Speed on the way there from Bob. I can almost sense and smell what he's gonna try to do. The last Zealot there went down, and we've got the Force now coming down from Rabbit as well, and also getting Dragoon range. And triple gas there, triple gas. Double gas there from Bob. He's getting a pylon, a rope on the sides to build pylons. So you can see a Rabbit coming in with potential shuttle drops, but I don't think shuttle drops are... He's going for a shuttle before going for the observer. He doesn't even have the observatory yet. He goes for a support bay first. So actually, Rabbit not going for the fast observer. He's going for the fast Reaver shuttle drop into an observer. Because we see the observatory coming in there on the top left on the production tab. Dark Templar is keeping the Dragoons and the Zealots away for now. Zealot speed almost finished up there for Bob. Bob is going to try to run into Rabbit's base, kill the cannons with his Zealots, and then get the Dark Templars into the mix as well, and use the Dark Templars to kill the Nexus or whatever else he can. But Rabbit now does have the Observer on the way. He did go for a Shuttle, but he didn't go for the Reaver. So I was wrong on that one. I thought he was going to go for Shuttle, Reaver, Observer, but he probably decided against getting the Reaver first, because the Dark Templar was already out on the map, and he felt that if I go for a Reaver first, the Dark Templars will basically kill my stuff. So let's get the Observer first, so that I don't have to rely on cannons, and then go for the Reaver shuttle drop. He's got shuttle speed, they're on the way in level 1 attack as well. Bob is getting Storm, and Bob is getting level 1 weapon attack. Observer there on the side. He spots out the Dark Templar by pure chance. Bob is just looking for pylons on the side to kill for a future setup for a Storm drop. He wants to kill the Zite Vision that Rabbit has, so that the shuttle can more easily fly in without Rabbit having the same amount of time to respond. Basically, if this observer spots out the shuttle, it's much easier to respond to the shuttle, because you have like 5 or 6 seconds more to move your units around and intercept the shuttle. Unlike, like, if it flies in right over here, you don't have much time. It's like 1, 2, and it's already here, and then it's almost on the probes. It's very difficult to respond to something that's coming out of the darkness very close to your minerals. It's just very difficult. That's why Bob is also getting all those pylons here on the side. He really wants to see shuttles flying in from very far away, so he can put his Dragoons into location, intercept the shuttle drop, or pull his probes to safety. Both options are viable. So drop there on the top corner. Goes into the front first with the cannon attack. Wants to take down the cannon. Wants to distract Rabbit from the shuttle drop. Rabbit probably knows what's up, but he isn't moving the Dragoons into position yet. Drop comes out. He's moving the Dragoons now. He responds to it. Temples are too far away to storm on the probes. Kills 22 probes. Kills even more. Kills 27 probes. 28 probes in total. Ooh. I thought the Templar was too far away, but Rabbit didn't pull all of his probes off the minerals and lost about half of them. So now Bob is in the lead with probe count. His army is really small. Their supply counts are almost the same. But Bob has 31 more probes. So this is going to get dicey. This is going to get close. Because Rabbit is going for the attack, and he might be able to kill Bob with this attack. There's also a Reaver shuttle in the mix with double Reaver that might actually just leverage the fight so much in Rabbit's advantage that Bob might not survive. But Bob has a beautiful setup there with a counterattack from the back, but the Reaver's there getting a load of Reaver shooting on the Zealots, and most Zealots going down. Massive hit. A lot of Dragoons against Zealots, 1 Templar, 1 Reaver, 1 Dragoon. The Dragoons in this case for Rabbit are just way stronger, and the Reaver shuttle there, double Reaver shuttle, it's just too much. Probably going to be too much for Bob to handle. Now Bob has no Dark Templars, and Rabbit has no Observer right here. But Bob is assuming Rabbit has an Observer, so he's not making Dark Templars. They're just microing there on the side, although the shuttle is empty. It's empty. The Reavers are just there in the back, hammering away on whatever they can, whatever comes into range. Bob is producing units as fast as he can, but he's losing his base. He's losing his unit. He has no units. Except for those couple there hiding behind the gateways and between the cannons, not able to fight back at all. And a very quick little counter attack from Rabbit there. just shuts Bob down before Bob can even say GG. Well, he did say GG, but it just went so fast, he had no idea what hit him. He went for a faster drop, but the faster drop, of course, means you have a smaller, weaker army. And he did get the hit, but the hit wasn't enough. So the score now on 2-1 in favor of a Rabbit. The score is 2-1. And actually, let's continue this in the next video. Because there's a couple more games in this set. And so far, this set is looking pretty promising. I really like the game so far. Both, well, Rabbit is playing very risky and it either paying off or not paying off. But in the Protoss against Protoss, Rabbit plays very, very smart, very solid. No risk, no gambling, no arrogance, no cutting corners, just straight up solid build orders. So thank you for watching. It was RJB for RJBTV. Thank you for watching Rabbit and Bob together with me. And we're going to watch them again in the next video. Have a good day, have a good night, have a good sleep, have a good breakfast, have a good afternoon, have a good dinner time. Whatever you're doing over, like, anywhere in the world you are, I just hope you have a great time.